My father was not a nice man. Being a toddler and reaching for something that apparently I had been told not to reach for, being burned by a cigarette, being held at gunpoint. My father used to take my mother and I to the grocery store. My uncle would stand at one end of the aisle and my dad would stand at the other end of the aisle. And it was protection and they were making sure that we were safe. It was control is what it was. And I think that that made me believe that that's what love was. The abuse in my childhood lasted until my mom whisked me away in the middle of the night when I was 12. The emotional damage and the trauma is that you don't realize that it affects your choices as you're going into adulthood and choosing who you're gonna love and who you think you're gonna be married to for the rest of your life. I married a man just like my father, and he too was not a nice man and was horrible to me, horrible to my daughter. I think the saddest day was when I realized that I was raising her to think that that's what love was. My definition of love now is my husband. That changed the day I met him, and home being a sanctuary and a place that my daughter wants to be and that I can't wait to get to with him. Wanting to spend time together and at the same time understanding that it's okay if I have to work longer than he thinks I should, or that I want to go to the grocery store by myself, or that I don't want to go to the grocery store by myself. It's really about being two individual people who just want what's best for each other and want to make each other happy. That's my definition of love. He's changed my life, him and daughter's life. So I pray a lot, and that she sees the difference and that she too now knows what love is. I think some of it stays with you. I don't know what the triggers are until it's too late. He accidentally grabbed my keys instead of his keys, and I freaked out because he had my keys and I was trapped and I couldn't go anywhere. I think the impact of everything that happened to me as a child made me extremely determined to be independent. It also made me want to do things my way. What was such a jaw-dropper for everyone was, oh my gosh, how are you this force to be reckoned with in the business world, yet somehow get treated that way after hours? I think the most important message to somebody who is potentially being either emotionally or physically abused, that they shouldn't be embarrassed, that they shouldn't keep their mouth shut. Realizing that you're raising your children, your daughters, to think that this is how they should be loved, or your sons to think that this is how they should treat their wife. Having it be something that we attack as a community and as a nation and is only going to start when people stop being afraid to share their stories. I have to believe that I went through what I went through as a child and as a wife and as a mother, that it served a purpose. And if that purpose is to be this woman that can stand up and talk about it and tell people what happened to me, and still saying I stayed through 3 different arrests, repeated abuse, and I did it because I thought I was doing what was right for my daughter, and I did it because I thought he would change, and I did it because I thought he really loved me and he didn't mean to treat me that way. And hoping that I help at least one person is why I agreed to do this today.